What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the 71st episode of Control the Narrative. We're a podcast that controls the narrative that the media creates. If you're new around here, subscribe to catch our weekly podcast. And if you're a returner, subscriber, or better yet, a Control the Narrative member, like we have two coming on the show right now, we appreciate you as always. Quickly to wrap things up, we are 2 games into the first round of the playoffs. Blazers won Game 1 in Denver. They lost Game 2 in Denver. So it's tied 1-1. Blazers going back home. They stole home court advantage, and we will see what happens in the coming days. But to talk all this over, I'm going to bring on 2 Control the Narrative members. 1, we got Vic, and 2, we got Joe. Both of you guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. No doubt.
Thank you.
Of course. Yo, Vic, Joe's been on a few podcasts before. Everybody, Joe's had some of the highest viewed podcasts in Control history. So no pressure, Vic, to keep up with them in this episode. But why don't you give us like a 60-second rundown of how you started liking basketball, and specifically Melo.
All right. So I really got into basketball at a young age. My brother played basketball. He went to Merrimack College. His freshman and sophomore year, he led the nation in assists. So I got into basketball mainly through my brother. And as far as getting into Melo, I was a Melo fan ever since he was in high school. I remember watching him at Oak Hill and him and LeBron, because I used to always saw LeBron's games. I watched that game when they played St. Vincent, and I'm like, who the hell is this motherfucker with the braids that's killing? Like, I know LeBron, because everybody's talking about LeBron. I was like, this motherfucker, right. He's special. And then ever since then, man, I just started following Melo's career. Like, I read up on him from when he went to high school, and then he transferred to Oak Hill, and then from Syracuse when he carried them to that national championship. That was my guy since then.
Respect. So I see you got the Rip City hat on. You've been following like each team he goes to?
Yeah. So the crazy thing is people be all like, when he was in New York, I'm from Boston. So like, oh, you a New York fan? I said, no, I'm a Melo fan. So when he go, that's where I go. You know what I'm saying? Like, same thing when it comes to, Tom Brady. I'm a Patriots fan, but I'm a Tom Brady fan.
You go.
So where he go, I go. You know what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily me being a fan of the team per se, but since I'm a fan of that player, I support the team.
Respect. And it's easy to do that with someone like LeBron and shit like that, where they win all the time, especially in the NBA. But to do that with Melo over all these years, I'm in that boat as well. I'm pretty sure Joe is in a similar boat. It's been hard to do that. So respect. Welcome to the membership and welcome to the show, Vic.
Absolutely.
Yo, let's get into it now. Like I mentioned in the beginning, the Blazers split the first 2 games. Won Game 1, lost Game 2. Let's start with Joe here. Joe, what are your thoughts just in general about the Blazers and how they've been playing in these first 2 games?
Well, I think it's more like this. We were the 6 seed, right? Coming into it, they were the 3 seed. For any team that's in that position, you want to go on the road and still win game. If you get 2, you golden, right? But we got 1. Last night, it was not a good look. We looked really bad, different fronts, but we get into that later on. But to go into Denver, Mile High City, altitude, all that elevation, all that good stuff, and get 1 game on a road, that's a win for us. Now we can go back home, regroup, make adjustments, because we didn't do them last night, as we can see.
Yep.
We can go from there. The key is, well, number 1, we got a road win. Number 2, make the necessary adjustments moving forward for Game 3. Game 3 is crucial. We cannot come out flat and lose Game 3 at home.
Great. At home, keyword home.
Yes, we cannot. In front of fans. We got fans now.
Yeah.
We cannot lose that game. Game 3 is crucial for us.
Agree. Vic, what you thinking?
So I mean, I agree. For the most part, I do think Game 3 is a big game for us to win. If we don't, it's not like I'll be like, oh, it's over. But I feel better about their chances if they win as opposed to losing.
Of course.
As far as Game 2, it's just Stotts just doesn't make any adjustment. He has the same, like, he's just a robot. He has the same routine. Like, it's just the one way, and the ship's either going to go good or it's going to go down with the ship. And he makes zero adjustments. I don't even know if he knows how to spell adjustment, but it's literally like the same thing over and over and over with him. And it's so hard to watch the game sometimes, man. Like, I'm yelling at the TV, I get so mad because these are professional athletes and professional coaches that, we supposed to swear by, but it's like they're so smart, they're stupid. He has no common sense. So, I feel like yesterday we didn't play our best game, but going into half when Dame cut it to 4 with that big 3, I was like, if we can pull this out the way we were playing, like that would have totally defeated them. They were playing amazing. Hitting shots, every shot. Joker. Jesus Christ, we went through everything but the kitchen sink at him, and he's just abusing both our bigs. I don't know what the game plan is of Nurkic saying, oh, the plan was just to let him score. Well, he's doing that very well in there. He's killing us. I think the adjustment needs to make to kind of not let him get off. I would rather everybody else without no Jamal Murray. I would take the ball out of his hands and Austin Rivers. If you can beat us, then you know what, we deserve to lose the series. That's my opinion on how I look at the adjustments he needs to make, aside from just living and dying by having to play Rojo and Powell 35 plus minutes a night. Like, I don't see that point in all that. It bothers me.
Yeah, and we were going to get into this whole Stotts adjustment thing now, but like looking back at it, it's kind of the same thing. How do we feel about it? He just doesn't adjust. And yesterday the Nuggets came out. You knew they were going to punch the Blazers in the face, and Dame single-handedly kept them in the game. Like, if Dame wasn't absolutely on fire, that would have been like a 30, 40-point blowout. But Dame kept them in. And then once they got to, 4 or something like that, when Dame hit another, I think it's like 8-3, again, he just doesn't make adjustments. And the one thing to me that stuck out was Nurk had 5 fouls, and he kept them in the game with like 8 minutes left, 9 minutes left in the fourth. And it's like, I get it. You want to cut the gap now because, like, if it goes to 15-20 now, like, you're not going to need him later. But it just doesn't make sense. Like, he doesn't adjust. Everything is just so, all right, Melo's going to come in at 4 minutes, 30 seconds. First, he's going to come out at 6 minutes. And, like, everything is like that, and he doesn't adjust at all. The whole coaching staff, really, we could put blame on it, but it doesn't make sense.
It's like Vic said, it's like Stotts like a robot. Like you just said. I mean, you mentioned, 5-minute mark, put Melo in. 2-minute mark, third quarter, take him out. Exactly. You can't do that, especially in the playoffs. You gotta be on the fly. Make them adjustments as you go in the game. You know what I'm saying? It's so frustrating to watch him coach on the sidelines. And last night proved it. Like, once again, you need to make adjustments.
Yeah.
And even when you look at it, even superstars, you look at the LeBron Jameses. You don't know. It's never a set point of when he come out the game. You make your subs as the game is going based on the flow.
100%.
If Powell is going and Rojo is going, you know what I mean? I get letting them kind of rock a little bit, but like game 1, Melo was cooking with Crisco, bacon grease, all the greases you can cook with, but he still makes that sub every time, and it's just like. Don't make this up. I texted in the group chat. I'm like, Terry Stotts is the worst. Like I said, he just hit a 3 and they called timeout. I said, if they take him out, I'm gonna lose it. And then as soon as it come out, they showed Melo, and they was like, "Oh, Melo's walking to the tunnel." I was like, "Oh, did he get hurt? I don't remember." But then I seen him on the bench. He probably was walking to the tunnel because he's thinking the way I'm thinking. Like,
He's pissed
damn,
off.
I'm the
Yes.
reason I kept us in the game, and you want to sub me out because of, you know, you got this whole rotation set in your mind. He can be the reason why we lose the series based off of how he's coaching,
100%.
and it's really gonna, you know, I
right.
know Melo at times looks at it like, did I sign to the right place? I really do think he thinks that sometimes, and I think he's been so humble and just a
Gracious.
professional about the whole situation.
Yeah.
Couldn't have been
Always
me.
been.
Couldn't have been
He's
me.
always been. And we've seen like another adjustment I just wanted to point out was Cantor and Melo defensively doesn't work.
Dude,
It doesn't work.
That's
And he
100%.
keeps trying it.
No.
And he keeps trying it. Like, if you're going to put Cantor out there, like, put in Covington. If Nurk is going to be out there, like, Melo can be that 4. So just, like, little things that we see watching the game, and I just don't understand how NBA coaches don't get it.
When Nurkic sees Cantor come in the game, he says, barbecue chicken.
Oh, yeah.
Cantor cannot hold his jockstrap on any day, night, afternoon. It's buckets.
Especially
I
against
like
MVP.
Cantor too. I like Cantor. I think Cantor's he has his moments. Like, he's an excellent rebounder, but when he's another player where I don't understand Coach Stotts' philosophy, because he's quick to pull Melo, but Cantor will give up 5 straight buckets and he still be in the game. I'm like, are we gonna sub him out? I mean, like, I don't know why they got Harry Giles in the doghouse, but I've watched him play. He plays hard. Now he's he's not beefy like Nurkic is, or even like Cantor is, but he's athletic. And
exactly.
The casual basketball fan don't pay attention to this, but the people that the Joker has a problem with are the athletic bigs. The big bigs, he just put the body on. The athletic bigs that kind of he can't really feel them out and can jump. You know what I mean? And then if you put Harry Giles in and they get a ball to double, make him pass it out. Like, just try something different. But he got the same mindset. I mean,
it goes back to adjustment.
Can't guard me in a post.
Exactly, man. And you guys, you know what? I was thinking about that last night. Like, remember the Bulls days back in the day when they won multiple championships? They had a three-headed monster with Cartwright, Will Perdue, and the third one I can't remember.
And Will
they threw bodies at the best big man on the opposing team. Yep. You know what I'm saying? They got fouls to be aggressive on or whatever. Jokers is that good. We could do that. Bring in Giles. Let them be athletic and just move around, get them frustrated, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Use those fouls.
If there was ever a time for him to play, it'd be now.
On offensive end too. Like, Harry Giles moves around a lot. The Joker can't just stand stationary. So, you on the offensive end, he may not have one-on-one moves, but Dame breaks down the defense. CJ breaks down the defense. He's cutting alley-oops because Joker has to help. It's just something different. We may be wrong, but we won't know because he refuses to try anything other than, the Titanic was sinking.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah. I was saying, like, if there was ever a time to use Giles, it'd be right now. Like, he hasn't played at all this year. I've been wanting to see him just to see it. In the preseason, he looked good. It's the fucking preseason. I get it. But at the end of the day, if there was ever a time, it's against the MVP, who's the center, who, like, if he is bodying Nurkic and he's bodying Cantor, you have another guy, fucking try it. If it doesn't work for 3 minutes, whatever. Like, but try it, because what you're doing isn't working. And again, we're tied 1-1 going back to Portland, so it's not like doomsday right now where holy shit, Jokic is putting up 60 a game, but at the end of the day, they could try shit too.
Put up half of 60 a game.
What'd you say?
He putting up half of 60 a game.
Yeah,
putting in 30 a night.
Yeah, he is.
With ease.
Yo, let's go on. Let's look at games 3 and forward. Just straight up, Vic, we'll start with you on this one. What do the Portland Trailblazers need to do to win this series?
So honestly, it's not even that hard. it's pretty much a replica of game one, is what they need to do. Come out
100%.
fast, come out, just no turnovers. We're the number one team in turnovers as far as we turn the ball over the least, 11 a game. That's another thing that killed us yesterday. CJ had 5, Dame had I think 3.
They did.
Rojo had 4. You know what I mean? So just them 3 had more turnovers than we average a game by themselves. So just come out like we did game one, and just if you cut down the turnovers, Dame has been Dame. CJ, but just more on the defensive end, more of an urgency. I feel like we let them get a lot of garbage points, especially a couple of times free throws. They miss a free throw, they getting rebounds, and then they getting easy buckets on the other end so fast. I don't know, Michael Porter Jr. He just goes by whoever's guarding him, which is another thing of I love Rojo and Powell. I'm not professional athletes. I can't do what they do. I'm just speaking as a fan on another professional athlete. We got a Carmelo Anthony on the bench who the world claims couldn't guard a parked car.
Yeah.
But he has a better defensive rating than both other forwards on the team. So it just kind of it never added up to me on how that even works out, or why when it comes to a defensive a stop, it's always a sub for Melo. But when he does be in the game, he makes plenty of defensive stops for you. I mean, he don't got the quickest feet, but he got some of the quickest hands I've ever seen. Nobody bullies him in the post. He's a smart defender. People don't understand, if you watch him play, he directs the defense. He tells people, stand here. He's a great help defender. Very savvy. So I just think if you replicate game one, I think game 3 and 4 should be relatively good wins for us. I think we match up good with them, on the offensive end. I don't think they have anybody that can stop Dame, CJ, and they damn sure don't got nobody that can stop Melo. Only person that stops Melo in the NBA all season has been Terry Stotts. So, that's the key to me. It's just replicating game one and just kind of being more urgent on the defensive end, like we were in game one. Joker did have a great game. We didn't stop him for the most part, but we were honed in on everybody else. But game 2 was just kind of like a free fall. So that's my thoughts.
All right, Joe, what do you think?
My thoughts is this. Game 1, we played a really good game, man. I mean, listen, we came out blazing. Everybody was in sync, on point. You know what I'm saying? The stats was like Nurk, 16, 12, and 5. Being aggressive, being active, on point. Melo, 18 and 3, off the bench, 20 more minutes. Again, efficient, good. Who else? Anthony Simons, 14 and 4, off the bench.
He's been stepping up. Hasn't
he? When he get the minutes, he can do it. Okay, game 1, Denver. Millsap, 3 points, 3 rebounds, right? Morris, 10 points. Campazzo, 8 points, 3 assists, right? Game 2, let's move to that. For the Nuggets, Campazzo, 12 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists. Millsap, 15 to 7, and 3 assists. Harris, 12 points, 7 assists. The point of my saying the Nuggets stats, we can have Nuggets have 50 points, 40 points. He can have whatever he want to do. The other players can't have 12, 3, and 6, 15 and 7, 12 and 7. That can't happen. We can control them, but we win the game, right? And then our defense, we played better in game 1, obviously. Game 2, I think we were all off. We were all out of sync.
Yep.
Melo ain't good. He looked good. Nurk fouled out. You know what I'm saying? I just think we need to go back and watch the film on game 1 and come out with a better sense of urgency for game 3. Because in my opinion, game 3 is crucial for us. We want to come home, you know what I'm saying, our first game back at home with full of fans and get an L. You know, I just think that's key for us. That's real big.
Yep.
And keep Nurking. He's the MVP of the league, right? He gonna get here. He can't be stopped. Just from our team, Nurk can't stop him, as we can see. He can't. Enos damn sure can't stop him. So we try to contain him. If we can't, okay, the other people, don't let them get off. The Capazzos, the Morrises, the Millsaps. He's like 45. 15 and 7 from Millsap? Can't have that.
Nah, definitely can't. Capazzo's another one. He's like a gnat at a barbecue. He's drawing flagrant fouls. You know what I mean? Like he's an agitator. You know
what?
Matthew Dellavedova. He's just the Spanish version of Matthew Dellavedova. That's what he is. He's just a gnat.
For comparison.
Last night on Twitter, one of the in our group, he was like, he's a younger version of Pablo Prigioni for the Knicks. Yes. He is. Think about it. He's just like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm kind of on board with that train of thought where Jokic, obviously, you do as much as you can to stop him, but at the end of the day, if the other guys on the Nuggets are putting up 15, if Michael Porter Jr. has like a 20, 30-point game, that's where the Blazers get beat. And I am like, I came into this series thinking Blazers in 5. I still do believe that the Blazers are going to win in 5. It's really on Stotts to make these adjustments in game. From game to game, great. If you can go in and like, we'll see how they bounce back game 3. I'm sure some of their schemes will be different. I'm sure they'll look at film because they have 2 whole days to look at it. But if they're not able to do the shit in the game, it's not going to matter because it's not like the Nuggets aren't over there scheming either. Like the Nuggets are also scheming, being like, yo, this is what we did really well. You know, we could have even done it better. Yo, even in that win in game 2, we still didn't do this well. Dame still did this. So, you know, we have to trap them up higher. Whatever the case is. I think it comes down to in-game adjustments. But I feel like the Nuggets can't hang with the Blazers offensively over the whole series. The Nuggets came out and they punched them in the fucking face. And Dame literally had to single-handedly keep them in the game. And then, you know, from there, nobody else on the Blazers was hot. Melo only got 5 shots. CJ wasn't hot. Norman Powell wasn't hot. So I think that's where it came down to. But I'm still very confident and like I still feel really, really good after those 2 games that we won 1 and that we have a chance to go home, take care of business, win those 2, and then if they could win another one in Denver, cool. If not, they come back to Portland game 6 and win it at home.
Let me ask you a question. In game 1, right? Remember, Melo was hot in the first half, and do you feel like CJ be purposely?
Bro, a lot of people say that
on purpose because he's hot.
A lot of people say that.
Want to get him his shine. I don't know what it be, but I saw a couple plays for sure on purpose that he not purposely passing the ball. He's wide open.
Yeah. You know, it's like their offense where it's like your turn, my turn. So like even if Melo hits 2 in a row, whatever, it's just like, all right, you got yours, now it's my turn. And it's bad because the whole team, a lot of the team is filled with ISO scorers. So when you have guys who just need the ball in their hand to create,
absolutely.
Like how many spot-up shots does Dame get a game? How many spot-up shots does CJ get a game? Like not many because all they do is go one-on-one, which is cool. It works. Like obviously it works.
Absolutely. But what I'm saying is like when he was hot in that first quarter, I believe it was with 12 in the first quarter or second quarter.
Second quarter.
He's doing it. So keep going, keep feeding him until he, you know what I'm saying, is not feeling it, whatever.
So Joe, I agree with you 100% in the sense of when Melo gets hot, it's almost like at some point they're like, all right, let me get a turn. But if Dame hits like yesterday, when he's hot, they don't go away from him. They keep going to Dame. If CJ's hot, They'll keep going to him. They won't go
That's
away
all
from
I'm
him.
saying. That's all I'm
But
saying.
it's real funny how when Melo gets hot, it's almost like, all right, hold up. Let me get a turn. My thing is, like you said, if somebody's hot, you keep going at them. You keep going at them.
Right.
Like,
But it's CJ.
once
It's
Melo
not
gets
David.
cooking,
It's CJ.
yes.
Watch that.
And I don't.
Keep an eye
I
on
think
that. Keep an eye on that.
you watch the games. CJ and Melo are on the floor a lot together. I think it should be Melo and Dame on the floor together
Agree.
more than CJ and Melo, because Dame runs the pick and roll with Melo and even Nurkic really well. And where CJ, he comes off the pick and roll, he's not looking to pass, he's looking to straight score. Dame's looking to score, but he'll pass it if the double comes his way. CJ, he's a one-way street. He's going that way. And so I do agree with you, Joe. Like, sometimes I think they feel like the shine's going too much that way, and they're like, "Oh, let me jump in." But I also think that I think CJ's a hell of a scorer.
He is. Don't get me wrong.
I could be being biased. I probably am, but I don't think I am. I still think Melo is the second best player on that team as far as scoring.
Agree.
I do think CJ can get a bucket, but nobody can get a bucket like Melo can. I mean, Kwame Brown said it best. He said, he stopped moving them feet. You look down the next, you the ball in the motherfucking hoop. You know what I mean? He still got it. And I think if he gets the opportunities to do it, he would. That's one of the adjustments I'd look for Terry Stotts to kind of make going into these next couple of games is, I love the three ball just like, we shoot it. But when it's not falling, the people are cold, run a set for Melo, give him the ball in the post, because he's going to make something happen down there. And if he doesn't, he'll at least pass out of the double teams. If he get double, he's not selfish at all. So I think they need to start running more of those type of sets for him. And I think it's criminal for him to get 5 shots in any game. As a coach, you're supposed to find ways to give your players, your stars, an opportunity to score. You're supposed to be running pin downs for Melo, back screens for Melo, setting up different type of ways to get Melo touches in the post, not just spot up threes. Because Melo is one of the few people that when he does get the ball in the post, they will double. Whereas Scott was saying, Dave can get a setup three as opposed to having to create for himself all the time. Melo's the only person on the team that literally can consistently demand a double team in the post. They don't double team Nurkic. They don't double team Cantor. CJ couldn't post me up. But you know what I'm saying? So that's the stuff you got to start looking at in the games. And I don't think those are the adjustments I don't see him making.
Great. We'll see, man. Like, I'm thinking about it out loud, and like, if this series does come down to adjustments, I feel like the Nuggets have a better coach. But at the end of the day, the Blazers are just so much deeper. They have so much more talent, so I think that'll win out. But hopefully, Game 5 in Denver will be the Blazers up 3-1, looking to clinch the series. But last night in Game 2, when Melo was on his way out, I don't know if either of you guys saw the video. Fans have been booing him. One guy posted a video online talking about Melo, you fucking suck. How was New York? You suck. All this shit. Just went on and on. We know Melo was in Denver for 7.5 years, 8 years. Went to the playoffs every single year. Took them from the worst team in the league to a playoff team in his first year. Made the playoffs. Should have been rookie there. We know that. What is your guys' reaction? Joe, we'll start with you on this one. To the Denver fans booing Melo, but not only booing him is one thing, but really going at him and really just being disrespectful and doing all that shit on his way out.
Well, I take it back to day one when the Nuggets drafted Melo, right? Him drafting him was second, third overall pick that year.
Third.
Yeah. Before he got there, they were like a below 500 team, not making the playoffs.
17 wins.
17
right.
wins.
So
tied with Cleveland.
You mean tell me this man comes to your squad, right? Make the playoffs every year since he's been there. Every single year after you drafted him, you guys are in the playoff. Even made it to the Western Conference Finals. Got the audacity to boo him? You guys are blasphemy right now with that. You can't boo Melo, yo. He built that house. Before you got there, y'all was garbage. I ain't gonna boo him, but watch. Do what he do. Keep booing me. I'm gonna give you 12 points in 5 minutes, including 3 threes, right? You keep booing me. That's fine. Like Melo said, that's fine. Some love me and some hate me. But I'm gonna show you what you guys miss. Yeah, I want to get my way out of Denver. I admit that. He did that. It is what it is. But we move on. But at the same time, when he was there, he produced. Playoffs, Western Conference Finals. That's all you can ask for. You didn't win the whole thing, but hey, you made the playoffs and you went to the Western Conference Finals. That's all you can ask for out of a player, man.
Yep.
That's it. So keep booing them, then you see what happens.
Yep. Hopefully, points, Game 5 is revenge.
Right?
Vic, what do you think?
So, booing, I don't necessarily have a problem with fans booing Melo. I mean, he is in Portland. It happens, you know what I mean? I mean, Cleveland booed LeBron, but the disrespect is where it bothers me. You can boo him, you know what I mean? That's fine. But it's the disrespect that bothers me. So, with Denver, like you said, you know, you were the bottom of the pits, and in the first season he's there with you, he gets you from a 17-win team to a 43-win team. I want to say they won 43 games his first year. So, you know, I mean, you're looking at, and then you're in the playoffs every single year. So those 7.5 years Melo's in the league and he's playing with Denver. 3 out of the 7.5 years he was there, the team that they lost to in the playoffs won the championship.
Yeah.
Then another 3 times, the team that they lost in the playoffs was in the Western Conference Finals. So it wasn't like they were losing first rounds to bumps. They're losing to the teams that eventually either won it, was in the Western Conference Finals, or made it to the championship. You know? So it wasn't like it was some one-offs. They lost to Utah twice. They made it to this Western Conference Championship back-to-back years. They lost to San Antonio that year. They ended up winning it. They lost to the Lakers the year that they ended up winning it, where that's the year they made the Western Conference Finals, and they should have beat Kobe and the Lakers if goddamn Anthony Carter didn't turn the ball over. We would have won that game. And then they play Orlando in the NBA Finals, and I think they would have beat the brakes off of Orlando.
Smack the shit out of them.
Because they owned them in the regular season. But it's the disrespect, the dude, the pussies, and all this other stuff. Like, my thing as fans, I think fans have the right to boo and say, you know, express themselves to an extent.
I feel that.
As a fan, I look at it like this. Would you say that if you see Melo in the parking lot and it was just you and him? I don't think so. I know you wouldn't. So don't say it in that sense. And it's really crazy how the team that drafted Melo that he took, and Melo didn't leave the fans. He left the organization because of the coach. He didn't have no problem with management per se. You know, him and George Karl just was at a standstill. And you know, anybody that knows George Karl's history knows that he's not he's a good coach, but he has his demons. You know what I mean? And as a kid, Melo grew tired of it, and you blame anybody wanting to be in a winning situation. But it's funny to me how that is the image he has in Denver. But when he goes to New York, it's like, wow. They can't stop saying Melo. So it's really interesting how the second home, which he did less for New York than he did for Denver.
Yep.
But they love him so much more because they appreciate, you know what I'm saying, what he did for them. Because even in New York, it was another situation where they didn't win, and it wasn't necessarily because of Melo. I mean, you got to look. He was with Jared Jeffries. They had the kid Walker. Fucking Pablo Prigioni. Jason Kidd was on his last legs. Like, he had a D-League team that he was trying to play the Big Four in Boston to win a series with.
And the Big Three in Miami.
Big Three in Miami. Like, you know, the thing with Melo is, the one thing about him is he just never had the teams that these players have had. One of the episodes you did, the guy was talking, the perfect comparison was T-Mac to Kobe. You know, if T-Mac had a Shaq, how would his career have turned out? If T-Mac didn't run into injuries, look what his career, like, if you look at Tracy McGrady was unbelievable. He was special. But just like Melo, in a sense where you don't have those players to play with. And the first thing he played Iverson. Well, Iverson was 33 when he got to Denver, so it wasn't like he got Iverson when he was 27. You know, I mean, you got to look at LeBron when they was in the Big Three. They were all 27 years old. He's never had that prime team, which is the only mistake I think he made in his career when he didn't leave New York the first time to go to Chicago for that young Bulls team with Rose, Butler, Taj Gibson, and Noah. They would have that would have been the team that would have knocked the Big Three off and would have been that team to win multiple championships, because all they was missing was a Melo type player. D Rose was great, but he wasn't a closer, and Jimmy Butler wasn't what he is kind of now at that point.
Yeah, so, that's scary. That's scary. Think about that. That team, Melo, Lord have mercy.
Lord have mercy. That's all you can say, because D Rose was a superstar, but he was, even when he won MVP, he was only scoring 22 points a game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and he was a flash in the paint. Couldn't stay in front of him. So you can imagine how many easy shots and easy putbacks Melo was getting off of that. Noah wasn't looking to score. All he wanted to do was play defense and rebound. Same thing with Taj Gibson. And Jimmy was your two-way player. He was your 3 and D person. He played D. He could shoot the 3, and he, you know, had his moments and created his own shot. And they had a nice little bench, you know, at that time too. So, but yeah, the whole New York, the Nuggets thing is, you know, I didn't really mind the booing, but it was the disrespect that's kind of got me on that one.
Fair. For me, I'm gonna be honest. Obviously, like the disrespect, I think they crossed the line. Like, you know, again, if they saw Melo on the sidewalk walking down the street, they wouldn't call him a fucking pussy. There's like no shot. But for me, this whole narrative of Melo leaving the Nuggets because, like, you know, he quit on them and all this shit, it's just not true. He's talked about it where there was a lot of rumors behind the scene, like they were gonna turn over the whole roster. They were going to trade Billups. They were going to let go of JR. Who knows what they were going to do with Kmart. Like, they were getting rid of a lot of good players and Melo's people. Like, JR was Melo's people. Kmart, like, they're legit friends. So they were going to do all that. And people don't want to remember that they were going to turn over the whole roster. And I don't know if they were going to go into a rebuilding stage or what, but building back up a roster like that, unless you're Miami with the Big Three, you don't just do that in one offseason where, okay, cool, you let go of JR, Chauncey, Kmart were huge pieces of this team. Nene, who knows who else? And next year you're a contender. Like, it would have taken a few more years, and Melo's entering the very, very peak of his career, and he didn't want to have to go through that whole situation when he had a situation like New York with Amari already here who was at the top of his game at the time. And that's why even the booing bothered me, because he didn't want to leave Denver. He signed that 4-year extension with them, and he could have become a free agent when LeBron, Wade, and Bosh was. Like, he should have been in that Miami Miami team, but he signed that extension. He was like, no, I like it here. This is my team. I want to build here. And they didn't build around him, and he's like, yo, I'm going into the prime of my career. I want to win. And again, the Knicks had Amari, and everyone thought that was a good spot to win at the time. So that's why even the booing bothers me. I don't think his exit from Denver was just him quitting on the team and being like, fuck this, I want to go home and all this shit. Obviously, that played into it. But at the end of the day, they were not going to be a competitive team for years moving down the line, and I think he knew that. So that's why the booing bothered me.
I wanted to real quick to hit on one spot where we talked about to win a series and adjustments. In my opinion, I just want to get this out real quick.
Yeah.
To win a series, we have Nurkic has to play better, right? Game 2, we had what? What's my notes there? He had 7 and 13, right? Which is the rebounds is good. But your game 1, you were 16, 12, and 5, right? You were aggressive. You were on a block. You know what I'm saying? Giving bodying Nurkic or whoever, making layups, pick and roll, buckets. Game 2 came around. That didn't happen, right? You're the key to how we're going to play and or win game 3, right? Which brings me to adjustments. Terry Stotts. Game 1, you have Nurkic doing all this stuff on the block, pick and rolls. The adjustment then come game 2 to where you do the same thing game 1. Get back to that, Terry Stotts. Make that adjustment. Get him on the block. Get him in pick and rolls. He's the key to us winning this series. You know what I'm saying? He can't be on the floor 5 fouls in the fourth quarter. Take him out. Pay him the last 5 minutes, it may be, right? We got to have him on the floor. It comes down to adjustments. Terry Stotts, galvanize the troops. Get them together. Work with what you got. You see your personnel, make the best of what you got. You have to. We're going to lose this series, Terry Stotts. You have to do this. That's what I want to say, man.
And you know he's tuned into this, so I hope, Terry, you take that into account when you come up with the game plan for Thursday's game.
And this guy, you know what I saw today, for example? I was on Instagram for the first time, and I started following Control the Narrative. I didn't know that Melo and La was following you on this joint. Yo, that's big. And that goes along with what I was saying to you the other day about the whole Melo picture in the sea, right? He following you and us or whoever. I'm just saying.
he looks at the stories sometimes. He looks at the stories. He's like commented on our shit, liked our shit before. It's like he knows what's up. He knows what's happening.
Yeah, man. I just saw that, man. You're doing your thing. Keep going, man. I'm proud of you. That's big.
I couldn't do it just coming on and talking Blazers and Melo myself every week. That's why I try to have different people on to give different opinions, and like people fuck with the opinions you guys give.
Absolutely,
so
man.
It's on you guys too, obviously. You know that. Yo, Vic, Joe, we have reached the end of this podcast. At the end of every podcast, Joe, you know the drill, but Vic, we allow our guests to control a narrative. Doesn't have to be Melo related, doesn't have to be basketball related, doesn't have to be sports related. But I'll give you guys 60 seconds each, since we're at 42 minutes, to control a narrative. Vic, you could go first.
Wow. Put me on the spot. It's the narrative that we need to control is the fact of kind of just picking up what you said, where you left off with Melo and just the whole Denver situation, that it's never what you think it is because of what the media lets you see. You know what I mean? As you said, and people don't know the behind the scenes of it wasn't his intention to ever leave Denver. He loved the city. It was where he got his first shot. As you said, he signed that long extension. But when you start talking about, we got in the roster and we're going to start over, that's where he's like, I'm off that ship. But to get to the point of the narrative I'm controlling is he didn't leave you high and dry. The team you got now, you got because you got all those draft picks that New York gave you for Melo. That's how you
100%.
get the Jamal Murray. That's how you got the Jokic's of the world. That's how you were able to trade for, Millsaps, all of these first-round picks that they gave you, along with the haul of players you got from New York. So, he didn't pull the LeBron James, but he just left you, and you were just left without anybody, because when LeBron left, everybody left Cleveland. He was...
You broke up a little there, Vic.
Uh-oh.
Might have lost him.
Uh-oh.
There
you go.
Vic,
yeah,
you're good now.
All right. I don't know where I left off, but that's kind of the narrative I wanted to control, pretty much.
Fair. That's a good one. And again, people don't talk about it, and they just run with it. And
yeah,
that's why we do shit like this, because they keep running with this
Whatever
shit for years.
Rachel Nichols say is gold. If she says that means it's gold.
Exactly. Joe, what narrative you want to control?
I want to change directions a little bit and control my narrative. it's been a week for Kwame Brown. He's been on the internet, all the internet, the whole week with his whole speaking about his truth. You know what I'm saying? And for 20 years, people were putting out about him being a buzz. He's this and he's that. But Kwame came on the internet and spoke his truth and spoke the real for the past week. So I want to control his narrative about him being a bust. That man's never been a bust, yo. He came to the league, drafted by Michael Jordan, number 1 overall pick when he came out of high school, now a year of college. He played in the league 12 years. Not 5 years, not 4, not 6, 12. That's not being a bust, right? He made, over $75 million as a kid. That's not being a bust. But he came on and spoke his truth about what he went through, what he endured. And he spoke the real. And I appreciate that. I wholeheartedly believe what he was saying about everything he went through, the people he was talking about. He showed his own narrative at the end of the day. And I think a lot of people respected that and believe what he was saying. But at the end of the day, I want to shout out to Kwame Brown for controlling his narrative about him not being a bust.
Respect. And it certainly doesn't hurt that he threw in some Melo love in all these IG lives and shit he's been doing. So yeah, respect to him for coming out and taking control of his own narrative, like literally doing that shit.
100%.
Word, Vic, Joe.
So one quick add on to your time, but just a quick side note. Just wanted to say today is the 1-year anniversary of George Floyd's death. So just wanted to shout out, to everybody that's been supportive, to the Black community, to the Black community in general. Let's stay diligent, let's stay focused, and let's not let, them control our narrative. I'll end it like that.
Salute that. 100%.
Well said. Yo, I appreciate both of you guys for taking time out of your nights to come hop on, to be part of this membership that we got going on. I feel like the chats are getting a lot better, like multiple people. It's not just like 2 people going at it. So it's been fun to read all the comments and all your guys' thoughts during the games and shit like that. But again, appreciate both of you. We will be talking in the Discord over the next few games, and hope you appreciate that, bro.
I bet.